Hey guys, how's it going? Jovan Hutton Pulitzer here, and I decided to pop on and do a little bit of an educational bit on audits, right? Because I think people, and Mickey D said, Happy Taco Tuesday. I just had tacos. I had fried chicken tacos that were pretty darn good. I enjoyed them quite a bit. But I want to get everybody up to speed on how do these audits work, what should you know about them, how are they really conducted, etc. Because I think a lot of people don't have their eyes open. Judy, you're right. Open your freaking eyes. They don't understand what it takes to do an audit, right? What it really takes to do an audit. So I want to do this for you today. And I would like to explain a few things for you as we begin, as we let kind of everybody join in here. I'm going to, I want you to pay attention, but I would like for people, please, for the people out there, would you be willing to just run a calculator for me as we do this? Just run a calculator for me tonight, because I want you to do the math as I regurgitate it out, because I think people need to understand this. I want to give a special shout out to the people of New Hampshire. I was incredibly impressed. This town, oh my goodness, this town went to bat against their government there to say, we just want to have this done correctly, right? Just to have this done correctly. And their local government is battling with them, right? They're battling with them. And think about this. In New Hampshire, these people were gathering with these signs. They were incredible, speaking their mind, right? And I was just, oh my goodness, how amazing is it that these people took to the streets basically demanding me? I just want to say, if anything, New Hampshire, holy smokes, talk about knocking it out of the park. These guys, imagine 500 people in an auditorium of a small town talking to their board of supervisors, spewing the same political pontificating putrid crap. And those people stood up in unison and turned their backs on their board of supervisors, or they call them their board of councilmen, or whatever the case may be, because they were exposed, because they were hiring insiders, people that are always hooked for the left to do this work. And those people are not standing for it. They are not standing for it. Those selectmen were absolutely nuts. They called the people irrelevant. Can you think about that? The people being called by the very people they hire totally irrelevant. That just amazes me. Why? I mean, how would your local people basically tell you you don't matter? I cannot comprehend this. I cannot comprehend the people that do it. But enough of that. Let's get behind the scenes. A few of you grab your calculators, please, because I think it's very, very, very important you understand how these audits work, and you understand why these election offices, these election people, fight audits. You know, some of these places can have tremendous budgets, right? Tremendous budgets to do these things. And what they do, okay, what they do is they actually basically throw bullcrap numbers at you. Bullcrap numbers at you. Trying to subvert the people. So let me give you a few things. I'm going to give you some of the short hacks real quick that these quacks that are in these board of supervisors or selectmen or whatever you want to call it, deselect men is what has to happen. They have to be deselected because it's the people that have the power. And Leos, you're right. The people have to do it. But I want to talk about, because Susan's right, we're raising money and what have you. But I want to explain to people how this really works. And you need to know all the rules, regulations, and idiosyncrasies of this stuff. The first thing, okay, the very, 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 very first thing you need to understand is I'm in that category of I'm providing a technology that can help the audit, right? Can provide the technology that can help the audit. But what I can't do, contrary to popular opinion, is when you provide everything for free, but you're also a professional witness. That's what I am, an expert witness, right? Because I have to testify to everything that's found, why it works, why you understand this, why you do this, 25 years in codes and machines and everything else. Because remember, all of my Scan to Connect, Scan Commerce, Scan Tracking patents are all about how do these papers and codes talk to machines, the same way you voted by a ballot. And so there's some really weird laws that are associated with this. Like number one, if I was to say, okay, I'm going to audit them all for free and I'll do it, and here it is, you need to understand, then I can't certify what's found because it immediately takes me out of being an expert witness. You see, they consider doing it all for free and giving it away as a political bias. Think about that. They literally, in a court of law, let people do it for free. And that's how they disqualify a lot of this stuff. Do it totally for free. And then basically these lawyers come around and go, well, Mr. Pulitzer, why did you do it? Blah, 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 blah. And you spent money. And well, isn't that like a political donation? You did it for them. I mean, you did it for free. And then they work to get you expelled, to get you disqualified. So you have to understand, you have to play by the rules to make this work. And folks, I would please do me like Charlene said, would you please, please, please share this so people understand? And you're right. New Hampshire is working on saving America. New Hampshire's a linchpin. If anything they did is they demonstrated what the people have to do peacefully. Nobody was wearing bandanas and cloaking their faces and stuff and throwing Molotov cocktails, or you would have been on the news. But you were peaceful and you were doing it right. And the people stood together. And you've got to get in these politicians' faces. That is what has to happen, period. Because you have to do it by the book, and that's the way it goes. So let me explain some of this. Although I wish I could wave a magic wand and do all this for everybody free and make every, single ballot that was cast, basically, what is that? 160 million ballots supposedly, from all around the world, or all around the U.S., all around the world too, but all around the U.S. If I could audit every one of them, I could do it. I wish I could wave my wand and do it. But when you jump in and do these things, and you happen to be an expert witness, if you do it for free, they will disqualify you, get you basically thrown out, not used, because they say you did it because you were politically biased, and you must be politically biased because you were doing it absolutely for free. Now, you heard this said in Georgia. At the time in Georgia, with my Senate presentation back on December 30th of 2020, you heard me say it'd be free. It'd be free because other people were sponsoring it the right way to do it in the process. It wouldn't cost, meaning the state of Georgia things. And that's how they run these things upside down. And they have a lot of hacks in the audit system itself. They'll say, okay, great, you can audit it, but you got 1 day to do it. When you can't possibly do it in 1 day. Or you have your court hearing and the court tells you to do it, and you get the ruling to do it, say, okay, get a start in 24 hours. It's impossible. There are so many hooks and crooks and hacks and quacks in this system that it's very hard navigating this stuff. So you have to understand what goes on. So let's just do a little bit of math together, should we? And you're right. Why should you have to pay to see your own ballots? Kara, you are 100% correct. Why should you have to pay to see your own ballots? It doesn't make sense. And if I have anything to do with it, I'm going to make elections and automatic audits be the new standard, that when an election's done, there's immediately an audit and a second audit to certify them in coming days, and you don't have to file suit for it. So let's do some numbers. Get out your calculators, folks. I'm going to show one on my screen here, just so those can see this following along, because I think many people don't understand some of this stuff, okay? If you have 125 people, now there's twice that involved in this audit, but let's say you have 125 people coming in from out of town, okay? Now this does not include at all any travel. And then basically you've got to feed them at $50 a day, okay? And so you're gonna have $6,250, right? $6,250 a day just in your food expense. And you're really only providing them 2 meals. You're not actually providing them 3 meals. And then the same 125 people are going to cost you $150 a day, taxes and everything else include, for the hotel room. So that's $18,750. Let me get to the short of this matter. Even if you could administer it for $50 a day for the food, drink, and everything you got to do for the person, and the $150 a day for the hotel room, right? You got $200 a day. You got 125 individuals. You're clicking away at 25 grand a day, and they are on the ground for 30 days. Yes, there are the numbers. There are the numbers. $750,000 just for, and I only figured half the people that have to come in, half the people coming in, right? And here it is, right? This is how it works. And so Johnny, who actually thinks I'm a fucking idiot, and so Johnny, just so you know, I know the rules and I am not a fucking idiot, right? Talking about the audits before they're done, pure cover your ass, look, respectability, integrity, but you know, goddamn well, the judge said no speak, right? No speak about what? What it costs to run an audit? What it costs to run an audit in New Hampshire? Get your fucking head straight, Johnny. Correct yourself. Don't bother correcting me. I understand. Totally, idiot. The rules of engagement. And so let's think about the numbers and why this needs public support, period. This has always had to be done from the public because a lot of these counties or electorates do not want to fund audits. They have the money to fund audits, but they don't want to fund audits. And by the way, other people that are great experts, you want to come on in and throw your expertness around with me. Throw your expertness around with me. I'll send you a link. You can join me, right? But the trolls can hit and go all you want. The bottom line is everything that I'm discussing right now is 100% allowable, period. You need to do the numbers, folks, and you need to understand what it takes to support an audit, what it takes to support an audit. And that is why people need to understand period. Period. This takes the public. Whether you like it or not, this takes the public. New Hampshire, your very election people, right, do not support your will. It's a very interesting process, though, right? New Hampshire they have three choices. Each side gets to choose an auditor. They get to choose one in the middle, okay? Period. Three choices. But what they're telling the people is, oh, we don't think anything's wrong with the ballots. You can just look at the machines. Well, you can bet if a voting machine has a vote in it, there should be a ballot. But you know the only way you can confirm if that ballot was cast right in the machine is to find that physical ballot. It's that simple. But yet, the United States government, the current administration, wants to get rid of the ballot. How do you audit an election if the ballots go away? Johnny, hey, that's interesting. Johnny does meth, not math. That could be the problem, right? Meth, not math, right? Johnny, a lot of people are commenting on your comment, right? I love that. And that's exactly what's going on. See, the people are responding. I don't control this. I'm just totally transparent. And in this transparency that I'm trying to give to you, I'm trying to help you understand the process behind this. You have to understand everything in our voting system, like you heard me on an interview the other day. It is broken from top to bottom. There is nothing that is in the favor of the people about it at all. I just do not believe that. Every step of the way, we have issues. Every step of the way, we all have issues. This opening of eyes because of what have happened in the election, and there's thousands of you watching, is what is enabling you, the citizen, to understand what goes on and how this works. How can you help? How can you even educate as a patriot? How can you even educate as a patriot if you do not understand what the process is? This is why I do these things. I want to show you something real quick in case you didn't know it or haven't followed my podcast. I stopped doing I did my podcast for years. I actually stopped doing it a few years ago. Ironically, the reason I stopped doing it, you'll love this, is because in my medical company, there was so much bias towards me doing public broadcast and being out there and being vocal, right? That I stopped doing my podcast for the sake of my just making it easy for my company, right? And so I decided, okay, I'm just going to do the great thing for my medical science company, and I'm just going to stop doing the podcast, right? And I stopped, but I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. And so let me show you here. Oh, why is that up on my screen? That should be up on my screen. We'll see if it shares it right. Are you seeing that okay? Woo, woo, woo. No, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Here, got it. Close, go, share. Now we'll share it, and you don't have that holographic effect. Well, I'll be damned. There it is again. That's really weird. I don't know why it's acting up that way, but I'll stop it. I have a sound. You can go to soundcloud.com/Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, right? Real easy. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. Hey, I'll basically, I know how to do this. You ready for this? I'm going to screenshot this sucker. I'm going to pull it up. And I know how to get past this bullshit little error. Ready for this? Here we go. I'll share it a different damn way. At least I know how to do it differently. Here you go. Ready? 1, 2. There you go. So that's my podcast, right? I don't know how much you can see on there, but I did one today called "Is Woke the New Broke and Is Wokeism the New Mask of Racism?" And if you haven't seen that or listened to it, because it's only a radio broadcast, listen to it. You need to listen to it because I basically explained to you how wokeism is literally against the law. And that's how you debate these things. You got to know about them. You got to know where the holes are in the system. You got to know where the breaks are. If you're going to talk to your family that's shunning you, talk to your neighbors that's shunning you, or you got a Johnny idiot come lately that thinks they know better than you, and you got to educate the idiot who prefers meth over math on, hey, here's what the real deal is. And so please go listen to that podcast, right? Because, very seriously, because you have to know how to debate this stuff. It's actually a pretty good program. So let's go back and let's do some numbers. Let's just do some simple numbers. I'm going to get my calculator back up here. And I'm only doing these on the fly because I'm picking it out. So you can kind of do the math with me. Let's go to my screen. Let's do this, okay? Let's basically say that every box, which is true, so you have $40 per pallet, and you've got an ungodly amount of pallets. Let's just say, hypothetically, you've got 1,500, oops, I got to push on this screen, 15 is pushing on the wrong screen, 1,500 individual boxes of ballots. And each box, okay, each box has to have, as it's going through, just its own proper high-speed USB fob, okay? So you're gonna call it $20. And you're going to actually have to have two backups, right? One's going to stay with the box, one's with not. And that's what your standard backup. Now, this is just fobs. This is just high-speed fobs. Just to support an audit of that size. $60,000. $60,000 just in fobs. This is why everybody has to understand the numbers, because this cannot happen without the public getting involved. That is how critical this is. You ever just stop and think about those things? What if you flew in 125 people and the average flight of those people round trip, $1,000? Okay? There's another 125 grand right there. You ever had to buy should we say, have you ever had to buy a cable for your computer, right? A little battery pack, the little right connector. Do you think all these things work together magically? No. You know, these cables can be $20, $30, $40. Now imagine if you have 6 or 7 different components, 6 or 7 different components at a table. And each of those cables are on average $25. Okay, we're just going to call it 7. You got $175. You're running 20 tables at a time. That's $3,500 in cables, but you got to have backups and replacements for everything else. This is why I want you to understand the math. When you hear that Johnny's left the chat. Oh no, Johnny's left the chat. This Johnny says, please tell everyone that fuckwit Johnny has left the chat, and I'm the only Johnny still in the chat, and I'm an Australian, and I totally agree with you. Johnny, awesome. Thank you, brother. You're right. You weren't that Johnny. That was Johnny the meth head idiot that just wanted a bitch, but there you go. Hey, Johnny, give Johnny some love, folks. Give this Johnny some love. Oh no, sorry, Johnny. Wrong name for the wrong night. Okay, anyway, so it happens. Hey, it happens. But okay, thank you for joining me from Australia. I really appreciate it. This is why I just wanted to come on and let you know what do you think it really takes to pull off an audit? People don't understand that. And that has nothing to do with what it really takes to do on the technology side. Think about it. If you had hundreds of thousands or even 1 million ballots to serve, would you throw them up to a Google server to run your analytics? Hell no. So do you know what it costs to build the proper kind of box to run these things on securely and not network them? In hard drives alone, the right kind of hard drives. No connection, no wires, no box, no CPUs, no math processors, nothing of that. No rack, none of the power it takes or whatever the case may be. You're talking $100,000 in drives alone. $100,000 in drives alone just to house properly the data in a non-connected style. That doesn't even include the box. And you got to think about the processing bandwidth and the security that has to be around these things. And that is where I think that people need to understand and why I made the thing today. Here's what you're going to see. Let me pop up that banner. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to go here. Bear with me 1 moment. I put this up today, okay? And here's what I put up, right? I keep on getting asked to help with the audits, whom should we donate to and which fund should we trust? Because the one way you can help is to make sure these things get done all across America, just like New Hampshire's doing. They're now saying, screw our city officials, we're going to raise the money and do it ourselves. But you're asking, how do we do this? How do we do this? And what do we donate to? I get it all the time. People ask. And so what I've decided to do is I've never really endorsed anyone. And in the next 36 to 48 hours, I'm going to give you my final opinion on if you're going to donate, where should you donate, and which one should you donate to? Because it's hard to discern. I cannot tell you how sick I am on my Telegram of freaking fake accounts, right? People, I'm General Flynn, come do my account. It's total horse shit, right? I am tired of these Trump bullshit from China, gold-clad bullshit coins, all junk, all trash, all mean nothing. And there are people in all of these states, just like Zachary says, Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, there are all kinds of states. And you're right, as much as we taxpayer pay some taxes, it should be going to that instead of around the world. You give $1 every time somebody files for tax to go to campaign elections, money divvied up, right? Shouldn't there be $1 just to make sure every campaign is audited properly, not this 1% crap they do? People complain, yeah, billions to transgender studies in Ethiopia, and we can't even get our votes counted. You want to know how that racket works? Take $1 billion, send it to Ethiopia for transgendered one-eyed green fog beetle studies, and that government can turn around and give half of that back to the people that lobbied for the law, and it can come in the form of consulting fees back, and it's totally freaking legal. But we don't look at that anymore. These are the things you need to know about. And I just wanted to make you aware. I just wanted to make you aware of these things are not free. Even though everybody thinks, oh, pop it up, run it on a computer, that's the way it is. That's just not how it works. Oh yeah, think about this. If you wanted to go right now and help in the audit in Arizona, do you actually have a life where you can take off for 30 days and commit to that project and do it? Most people can't. And you have to actually have people that are qualified to do it. You actually have to have people that know how to do it. And these things cost money. And so I just wanted to let you know, do some math on your own. Look at one table in any of the audits going on. You see that custom Lazy Susan carousel going around, right? It's got the three-headed beast on it because you got three people looking at it and confirming each count. Do you think those things are easy? You can't buy them on eBay. They actually have to be handmade so they're done right. Do you think painting all of that was free? Go back and look at that. Let's go back and pull that photo up. Look at just some of the simple stuff here. Hang on, I got to pull up my one photo. I want you to look at a few things. Let's just analyze this photo together, shall we? Okay, I'm going to pump it up. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen again. These are just the things that people don't think about when they think about what does it take. James says, I don't watch CNN for the same reason I don't drink out of the toilet. I like that. Wow. Wow. I like that. And yes, Karen, I am ready to work for the people of New Hampshire. I cannot do it for free because then it will not be allowable for me as an expert witness. That's why we have to kind of work around these things, okay? But look, let's just take a look at this. Let's just look at this floor, okay? You got all the monitors to show everything. All of these tables, most of them custom made. These custom made Lazy Susans, right? Everybody's color coordinated. Where do you think that comes from? Do you think those things were just already there and these arenas had all these color coordinated shirts for everybody? You think everybody's wearing the same shirt for 30 days? Were the floors already taped out this way? Not to mention, ever thought about what renting an arena cost? Think about how much renting a hotel room costs. How much do you think renting an arena cost? And that's one of the big rigs that goes on in this stuff. They won't let you use X facility. They want to push you over here because what they try to do is they try to use a game and drive you out of doing it. Period. They try to drive you out of doing it by not having the budget to be able to do it. They make it where it's hard to do. The color in this thing, you know, I hear the newscast. The newscast talks about this is the most secret audit in the history. No, this is the most total transparent audit in the history of any election audit because you can completely watch and understand. Completely watch and understand what is going on. And that's why a lot of these things need your support. They need your support. It's just, you'll implode when you really think about some of these things. You will totally just implode. Having to manage all these different things you have to manage. And then on top of suits and other stuff, they want to sue for a stoppage. They make you stop for 2 or 3 days. Everybody still has to be paid. And so the only reason I went through this drill tonight is because I want you to understand just how massive these undertakings are. just how much it takes to really do. On the technology side, my side, imagine just one precinct or one county's election, and you have to code to those ballots to understand what's there, how does it work, is it right, is it legit, is it the right size, all this other stuff. But that precinct has over 1,000 different ballots. Did you know that? 1,000 different ballots. That's 1,000 different unique programs that has to be written and run and operated to run. Something like 2 million ballots, you're talking about north of 68 million computing cycles, process pieces, 68 million individual transactions that have to actually go on. This is what makes this not only historic, but this is why it's important. 2020's general election had $14 billion spent on it. 14 billion with a B dollars spent on it. All the elections, everything else. It was the most mail-in ballots ever mailed, most ballots ever printed, most ballots ever received back, most ballots ever counted, and most votes ever cast by the trans-living. I tell that joke because I love it. I'm only joking. Trans-living are the people that are dead that identify as being alive and want to exercise the right to vote. I only use that as a joke. There'll probably be a story tomorrow. Jovan rags on the trans. Well, the trans-living, yes. And you're right. We have to come up with a cheaper system. I have made it my personal goal to figure out how to cut the cost of all of these elections by 50% or more. I do not personally think there should be a profit in elections. I really don't. I really don't. Because that is not in the best interest of the people. Because when you go into a state and you're trying to get a judge, let's just take Louisiana, not really a big state, but their contract for the machines is $100 million contract. A lot of power comes with that. There's a lot of money going on. You have to change these things. And I truly believe this has to be transformed in the public interest. The public interest. Because in the public interest, where it's not a big profit game, where it's just about getting the votes back, where you can't do kickbacks and stuff, all of that has to go out. There is a profit in elections. We're talking billions of dollars, billions of dollars. Dave says the same ballots in every state. Incorrect. Incorrect. Let me tell you why it's not the same ballots in every state. Number one, we don't have one election, we have 50 elections, not including the outside territories. They all have their own ballot, and they all use different systems. There is no one system. And all the systems require their own special ballots. And then all the ballots have different precincts, different things you vote for, and different people in it. They're all different ballots. They're all different ballots. And that system opens up opportunities for nefarious activities. And that is why we have to literally change. Oh, they say Dave wants the same ballots in all states. Can't be the same ballots in all states, right? It should be the same paper. There, you're 100% correct. It should be the same paper, and it should be controlled. From that standpoint, yes. If I misunderstood what you're saying, absolutely. But you're right. It's so unbelievably messy. It is all on purpose. Christy, you get the prize. That is exactly why there is issues with this. And if you, the people, don't understand all of these whacked idiosyncrasies, how can you know what to stand up for? just like New Hampshire, I do not get where they all agree on they have to agree on 3 different auditors. But absolutely, nope, you can't look at the ballots. Nope, there's nothing to see here with the ballots. Just because they said that, that's be the first place I would be looking. Even in a little bitty town in Mississippi, a ruling came down in a small town in Mississippi. It was on the 2020 primary. You know, that's where all the Democrats are running against all the Democrats and all the Republicans are running against the Republicans to understand who's going to be the ticket to run against each other in the big general election. And so in the 2020 primaries, 2 Democrats in a little town in Mississippi basically accused each other of fraud. And so these 2 Democrats sued each other. They got a Democratic judge. The judge looked at all the information that both sides presented, novel concept, but looked at all the information both sides presented, and the judge ruled that 78% of those mail-in ballots in that general election were fraud. 78%. Now, of course, you don't hear that on the network news because that proves the point. And it's actually a Democratic people that were doing it to each other, right? And you're right. Where is it? I just saw that. Hang on. It's all, you're right. It's almost easier to do fraud in smaller towns. Beth Ann says we have watermark paper for food licenses. Think about that. A judge recently ruled 78% of the mail-in ballots were fraudulent. Now let's jump to New Hampshire, who's fighting for their right for their own elections and have the legal right, and it's been agreed to. But when it comes down to the very people that, quote unquote, run the election, why do they have a say? These are the same people that if something went wrong, most chances are they allowed it. So these are the very same people that stand to get into incredible legal trouble if something's found. In some cases, these were the very people that will go to jail when things get discovered, but they get to decide who gets to do it. Do you think a board of supervisors, a board of electors, or a board of select men or women are going to choose what might seal their fate in their careers and ruin their lives? Hell no. Hell no. But yet, that's how this stuff is decided. But ironically, you, the people, pay for it. You paid for every piece of paper, every piece of postage, every elected official's salary, the very places these were conducted, all of the volunteers that did it, all the people that counted it, all the printing, all the mailing, you name it, the very machines these companies bought, or these countries or precincts bought, counties or precincts bought. You paid for it all, but they're telling you, we don't give a flying flip what you want. How is that okay? How does a modern politician of any area think that's okay? I agree with peace, respect. Insane. It is insane. It is insane what is going on. Yet they don't want you to see the very ballots that do it. And they play this game, they play this long game to push it out. And so, if anything, right? Doris England, watch the entire New Hampshire meeting today. Those citizens were awesome, standing up against tyranny of their selectors. It is amazing. Yes, Sandra, whatever happened to integrity? Whatever happened to the moral value of the people we elect? So I just wanted to bring this to you so you would understand what's okay. And I too, just like Will, agree it is not okay for them not to agree with the will of the people. It is not okay to say this was the cleanest, most well-run election ever, but you can't look at anything. It is not okay to have a vote and allow the people to do the audit, but then you get to tell them what audit they do. So let me give you my analogy for understanding what went on in New Hampshire and goes on many towns. You know, right now, some of these places say, well, you only had 4 days after the election to file a lawsuit and you didn't do it. Well, we couldn't go anywhere between COVID and the whole damn government was shut down. But here's another one. When your board of electors or your select men and women or your board of supervisors basically say, okay, you can do an audit, but we're going to tell you what to do. We're going to tell you which machines or what you can look at. Here's what I relate it to. It'd be like going back to the 60s and Charlie Manson and the family get caught for the murder and mayhem they did. Now, everybody saw it in the papers. Everybody talked about it around the world. This incredible cult that went on a murderous rampage and did fake news, kill the pigs, trying to blame it on people of color. But it would be akin to, okay, Charlie Manson and his family's caught, but Charlie gets to decide who gets to sit on the jury. And after he gets to decide who sits on the jury, he gets to decide what the conviction is. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And that is why, and I love that, I too am bored of electors, and it has to go back to the people. We have to clean up this system. We have to get audits done. We have to make things happen. The people of New Hampshire, God bless you. God bless you for standing up to your elected officials and reminding them they work for you. God bless you for getting on tape officials knowing that they were playing into the system with people that are hooked into the system and want it audited by the system. They want it audited by federal universities, universities that get federal money, get government money. But remember, if you're in the government and you say something's wrong with the election or something went wrong, you get fired. So how does that work? They're not going to find anything. That's how the system's rigged. And you have to understand. So thank God for you people in New Hampshire. I hope that catches on city by city by city. I hope people start going to their electors meetings and understand this is on a small level. You've got to get after it. I hope people do not accept, well, you didn't file a lawsuit within 4 days of the election, so you're out of luck, when in fact they wouldn't let anything happen because of COVID. That means they denied you equal protection under the law. It's time for everybody to wake up. It's time for common citizens to get involved. It's time for common citizens to say, I won't stand for this anymore. And it's time to start calling your politicians out. And when your politicians refuse you, shine the light on them and make it about them. When a politician won't let you audit the election, you now need to start asking that politician, why? What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? Who are you covering for? Because that's what's going on. This is about people. And if a little bitty town in New Hampshire can show up by the hundreds and hundreds and call their people out, we should be doing this coast to coast. When judges won't hear evidence, we should be finding out why. When councilmen and city councils and precincts and mayors, you name it, refuse to have any discussion about election integrity, especially if you mention the word fraud, and won't even talk about it, it is time to call them out. It is time to ask them, what are you hiding? What are you afraid of other than cancel culture? Cancel culture is the way it is. It's going to come with the territory. But see, cancel culture is just a big fucking bully. That's all it's about, period. And they can only be canceling you if you allow yourself to be canceled. You give up they canceled you. You shove it down their throats. They didn't cancel you. You fight for survival. And that's what everybody needs to understand. So I want you to understand these audits don't happen by themselves. The system is against them. The people have to participate. The people have to participate. Period. The people have to participate, and you need to support these things. So sometime between 36 and 48 hours from now, I am going to tell you where I think you're safe to support with your dollars to make these audits and these things happen, because they are not free. And part of the system relies on these never getting done because they cost money to do, and they hope that people give up. And the bottom line is that it needs your help, it needs your support to get them done, to start the dominoes falling. And that's why I wanted to give you this information. Love you all. Take care. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate what everybody does. It takes a lot to do. Nobody's coming, folks. You want justice, it's just us. There's not going to be any big military ride-in. It's not how it's going to happen. You can't wait just for other people to do it. You have to help do it yourself, because if we want justice, it is just us, baby. Just you and me, just us, that makes that happen. I love you all. Take care. Please share this. Please share this. Please share this. Because now we're heavily about to go into battle, get this done, and they are terrified of the results. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.